Hello and welcome to episode 35 of the Avonlea Chronicles, a knitting podcast. My name is Martha and I'm here to talk about all things knitting and crafting. I've not been making a lot of progress, but I have been listening to a lot of books and reading, plugging away at my knitting projects and getting excited because spring is here and the weather is beautiful. In my diffuser today, but the joke is on me because the plug is behind the piano and I can't move the piano. But later when I put the diffuser back, I'm diffusing Peace and Calming and Valor, two of my favorite blends. Valor is like my absolute favorite, for my little afternoon knitting session. So let's get into some things that I've been reading because I've been reading some really good books lately. So for book club, we read The Spoon Stealer by Leslie Crew. I'm still working away at it. On my Kobo, it's like 800 pages and at times it's a little bit heavy. So I'm only doing about a chapter a night because sometimes the chapters are long, but it's so good. I've actually really loved it. So we just had our book club discussion on it. And then next month is The Weight of Ink, which I just finished last night, listening to it on audiobook on Libby. So I've been reading that. And then I'm listening to Hear One Moment. It's about this woman who predicts people's deaths. They're on a flight together and she predicts a bunch of deaths. And then like some people try and like stop it. So I'm partway through that. And then I have Remarkably Bright Creatures. I got it for like 99 cents. So I have it on here and then I'm going to listen to it on Libby. So I'll like listen and follow along. So that's what I'm reading. Also, I cannot recommend enough the Kobo Libra Color. I upgraded from my super old Kobo Touch. I invested in the stylus. I can highlight, make notes. There's a notebook section. So like if I'm at school and I have an idea for a design, I have a couple design ideas actually in here. I love that I can like make notes and I can put PDFs on here. So I typically have been putting my patterns from HG Designs Crochet on here so that if I was ever out somewhere away and I had this, I have some like crochet projects. So yeah, that's what I've been reading. And yesterday was independent bookstore day. So my brother and I and a friend went down to the local bookstore and I didn't plan on getting anything. There was the most gorgeous copy of Anne of Green Gables with beautiful illustrations, a really beautiful hardcover book. I resisted. Would it be nice in my collection? It sure would. I've got a spot for it on the shelf, but I resisted. Actually, my brother's friend bought it. I was like, you got to keep that locked up because it's my favorite book. But I was looking and I saw this spine that was cross-stitched and I pulled it out and I love the cover. But Leslie Crew wrote The Spoon Stealer. So I looked at this book, I read the inside like flap, and I thought this would be a really good book to read because she wrote The Spoon Stealer. I like her books, I like her styles. She's a Canadian author. So I am going to read this and I'll report back to you when I do my next podcast about this book. But I'm loving The Spoon Stealer, so I'm excited to read that. And I've been watching, I did a little rewatch of The Secret Garden and Back to the Secret Garden. I know both like super old movies, but they're really good classics. Call the Midwife season 14 is coming to CBC Gem on May 1st. So next weekend, I will have a new season of Call the Midwife to watch. And I think they only release like 1 or 2 episodes at a time. So I really do, like the olden days, have to just, it's already paced for me, I think. So I'm excited for that. I watched the new gorilla documentary, chimpanzee documentary on Netflix with David Attenborough. And Cirque Life on CBC Gem has been really good about the performers in Cirque du Soleil. So that's what I've been watching. I've been doing my own nails. This color is the Sally Hansen Extreme Wear in the color Drop the Beat. I love beats. I love this color. And then I think one of my top favorites is called Top of the Frock. And it's just like a super light pink. You can't see any chipping or anything. I was pretty hard on these yesterday, so I might do my nails later, but I've been loving the Sally Hansen Extreme Wear. And on my lips, I've been loving the e.l.f. Glow Reviver Melting Lip Balm. Super affordable drugstore things. Just some things I've been loving lately. Let's get into some projects. I have been working on some bigger projects, and then I did like one really small project. So we'll start with the small one. This is the Comfort Pouch by HG Designs Crochet. This is a size that is not in her pattern. I made this mini size myself because this is the size that she has, a 4x3. I thought a 2x3 would be fine. And this is the perfect size for my Kobo. But what was happening is I have the Kobo remote, so I don't have to hold my Kobo and push the buttons. Because it's got buttons to push, or you can tap the screen. I can just put this down and click the pages with the remote. And so I really like that. And the stylus just magnetizes on. But what I did not like was that this was just popping in there and it was just like clanging around. I wanted to protect the screen of my Kobo a little bit from the remote. So I made a 4-round granny square following HG Designs Crochet's granny square pattern. And then I did a single crochet around the granny square, folded it in half, and then I just slip stitched up like across the one side and then up. I left the top open so I can just slip the remote in there. This was all I need. And then this goes in here. It doesn't matter whether I put it on the top of the Kobo or on the bottom, but the remote is now protected and it's all in here. And that I did that last night. It was like a 15-minute project. The only reason it's pink is because I am out of the coral colors. So I just used what I had. Would I have loved to make it matching? Yes, but I just used what I had. And now it's all together and I don't have to worry about the remote on the screen and like it getting all bashed around. So that was like one quick little project. I'm plugging away at this, my new design. I'm just loving this color and how it's turning out and how it just surprises me, like how neutral this looks. And then once you knit it, you see all these little pops of color. It's like such a surprise, but I'm absolutely loving it. There's nothing special about this yet, but there will be one day soon. And I'm using my Addy Click unicorn needles that I treated myself to. And I love this like join. I love it. I wasn't sure how I was going to like it because as you can see, like you can tell there's a little bit of a joint. It's not smooth like a twisting needle shaft on interchangeable needles, but like when you have the needle shaft and you have to twist it on, you have to use a key. Like there's a hole in the cable just underneath the threading. So you put this little like pin in and you have to twist the needle on, and then like you use the pin for friction to like tighten it up. And then when you want to undo it, you have to use the pin again to have the friction to untwist. Now, sometimes you'll be knitting along. I've been at knitting group, knitting in the summer, and being like, oh my gosh, I need somebody. Do you have a pin for an interchangeable needle or a safety pin or something? Because my needle will twist off in my knitting. But I love that the click ones, you just push the needle shaft down, twist it, and then pull it up, and that locks it in place, and it never comes apart. And you don't notice the joint. Like I thought I would notice that little join because it's not smooth. I don't notice it at all. Like I was a little bit worried that I was going to notice it. I don't notice anything. Not a thing. So I'm kind of plugging away at that. Last time I showed this shawl, I've decided on a name. I'm calling this the Lakeside Shawl because it's something that I imagine I would take with me to the lake. And just because I needed something mindless to do, I decided to cast on another one with this Katia concept yarn. So I've really just started, but I needed something a little more mindless to work on. This has like 500 yards on it, so it's got good yardage. I'm also using the Addy Click needles. Again, loving them. This would just be like an extra test of my pattern, really. And I'm not like, these would be great prayer shawls. Something if you had like 1 or 2 skeins of yarn that you didn't know what to do with, or they were like super busy in terms of like variegation and colors and you just wanted something simple. This is the pattern. So I will be typing that up and releasing it sometime soon. So been working on that. And then I really haven't had much else except for my one bigger project of knitting the 3 little pigs. And so I started by making all of the bodies. The body and the head you make in one piece. You stitch it up or sew it up and then you stuff it. And then you have to make the ears, the snout, the tail, the arms, the legs, neckerchiefs, and their accessories, the sticks, the brick, and the straw. So, and I'm kind of making them like in tandem at the same time. And the wolf, some of the pieces with the wolf are the same as the pigs, but some of it is different. And I ran out of yarn, so I had to go get more, or I'm about to run out of yarn. So I went and got more the other night. I'm using the Bernat Premium. So this is what I have so far. You have to use your imagination. This is the wolf. Right now, it's just the head and the body. He's got his necktie on. I need to get a little bit of white and a little bit of red. But I'm sort of, now that this part is done, I'm leaving everything else till last because I've got the pigs going. As I say to my friends, I'm knee deep in the pig pen. So this is the first pig. So cute. So I stitched it up, I stuffed it, I sewed the tail on, and then I didn't pay attention. And I sewed the snout on, and I sewed the ears on, and then I looked at it this way, and the tail was like over here. And so I had to unpick the tail and move it because I did not pay attention to the ear and the snout placement after I did the tail, because I did the tail first. So for next time, for the other two pigs, I have to make sure that I place the ears and the snout in line with the tail afterwards. I mean, it's not perfect, but I need to make sure when I'm doing this, it lines up with the tail. But they're pretty easy to stitch up. There's a part where it's, when you've knit it flat, you like decrease and then increase to make a cinched in spot for the neck. And so I found when I stitched up the wolf, I didn't have them like quite lined up. So I had to do like a little bit of fudging when I sewed it up at the back. But when I did the pigs, I used a clippable stitch marker and I clipped the that seam at the neck so that they would match up as I was sewing it up. And then what you do is you put a running thread through that like line, and you just like tie it to like pull it tight and tie it together to really cinch it in. And then it's hidden because you have the necktie, and this will not be removable. I am stitching down this. This is what I got done the other night. So I'm at the point, I've done like the bulk of the work. The bodies are done, the neckties are done, the straw, sticks, and brick are all done. I just have the arms and the legs left, and then all of the sewing. So I'm really thinking, because it's a lot of sewing, I think my game plan, and there really is no good way of doing it. I keep thinking, oh, this will be the plan, and then I like change my mind as I'm doing it. I think I'm going to finish stitching up the sticks. Like the sticks, you cast on a bunch of stitches and then you immediately cast them off, but then you have to like just sew the cast on and cast off edges together, and it just makes it a little more of like a tube. So I think I'm going to sew the rest of the sticks together and then make them into the little bundle, and then sew and stuff the rest of the pigs and their accessories. And then I just have all the arms and all the legs to do. And once I get like 2 arms done, I'll sew them on. 2 legs, I'll sew them on. So I think that's my game plan, because now that I've done one of these, I know how I'm sewing the ears, the snout, the tail on. I just know what to do. And then I have to do the face with black eyes and then some color for the mouth for a little smile. But they're so cute, and like they've actually been super easy to knit and like pretty quick. The bulk of the knitting is the body, like the body and the head as one piece, and then everything else is just like they're quick little things to knit. So that's the game plan. And then the wolf, the legs are different, the arms are slightly different. He's got a much bigger snout. He's got like white here, the snout has white on it, the ears have some pink. So like a lot different. So I'm kind of leaving him till last just because half of my couch is in the pig pen. Like, because I've got all the bodies and all of the ears and snouts and tails and neckties and their building materials all out there. So I want to get the pigs done first, and then I can work on this. But they're so darn cute. I sent this picture to my friend, like of just the pig, and she came back with a picture, like she'd edited it in AI, and so it had made it had added arms and eyes and a cute little vest. It was just fun, like just playing around, but it was just so fun to see it have a little more life to it, because right now it's almost there, but not quite. So that's what I've been working on. It's so fun and so cute. And I think they're gonna have a blast using these to retell the story of the Three Little Pigs. So that's been like the other big sort of project I've been working on, but it's not something I can take with me because there's just so many pieces. It's the like throw on a show or a movie and do it at home, whereas like my shawls are something super easy that I can take with me. But I'm really excited that these are coming together so well, and they're just so cute. So that's what I've been working on. I kind of can't wait to finish these because I want to get back to my other projects. I have some tops that I want to make. And just like rejig all the projects that I have for like summertime knitting. So, and there's some designs in here that I want to get out. So that's what I've been working on. I can't wait to come back in 2 weeks to hopefully show you some completed pigs and maybe some more progress on my shawls and other projects. And yeah, that is it. I am going to go and get back in the pig pen so I can get to work on making the other pigs and bringing some life to them. And I will be back in 2 weeks. I'm also going to go and put some new items into the Avonlea Mercantile. So next weekend, there will be some new graphics on some shirts or hoodies, mugs, bags. And as always, you can always go to my website at avonleaknits.ca and get any of my patterns. I also have my 2 other shops, Avonlea Mercantile with like knit, crochet, graphics on merch, and then the Avonlea Schoolhouse, which is more for teachers, with bilingual graphics also on some merch, some shirts, stuff that is safe to wear at school. So you can always go check those out. And I am going to go back to the pig pen, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.